Hello everyone, you're learning linguistics and literature with Imran. The topic for today's discussion is branches of stylistics. But it's not possible to discuss all branches of stylistics in one lecture. So we will discuss and we will cover this topic in 3 or perhaps more than 3 lectures. So the link of each lecture will be given in the description list. So let's begin our today's lecture and see that how many branches of stylistic we can cover in this lecture. Introduction to branches of stylistics. Historically, stylistic may be seen to date back to the focus on the style of oral expression. So in the past, the focus was given to oral expression, cultivated in rhetoric following the tradition of Aristotle rhetoric. So in the past, the focus was given to what? Oral expression, or different speeches were there. So stylistic flourished in Britain and in the United States in 1960. So that is 20th century, which was largely spurred by the works of Russian formalists such as Roman Jakobson and Viktor Shklovsky. The Russian formalists wanted to make literary inquiry more scientific by basing their explicit observation of formal linguistic feature of text under scrutiny. So what do they wanted? They wanted to make their literary inquiry, literary text more scientific. So the focus was given on the formal property of the text or formal linguistic feature of the text. So from there we can see that stylistic also began. We will continue our introduction to the branches of stylistics. They focus on literariness. Who focused on literariness? Russian formalists. And linguistic feature of form and structure such as parallelism and linguistic deviation that make a text poetic. So the focus of Russian formalism was on the text, and in the text the focus was on literariness, right? That how the language is used, whether the language is poetic or not, right? What kind of devices are used in this text. Similarly, linguistic feature of forms, right, and structure such as parallelism and linguistic deviation, right? Deviation, I have uploaded a video and there are all types of deviation like lexical deviation, morphological deviation, and pragmatics deviation, right? So all deviations are there. You can watch in the playlist. So deviation means like the expected norms are being violated by the writers. So that make a text poetic. So a text is only poetic if there is literariness, right? Like the language is different from ordinary language, and there are some linguistic feature of forms and structures, such as parallelism, right? The repetition of certain structures and linguistic deviation. So the formalists solely focus on poetry. However, the formalists were criticized for their overriding focus on linguistic form at the expense of the function. So they do not give much attention to function while the focus was on the form. So on the one hand we have form, that is structure, and on the other hand we have function, right? Like we're talking about meaning, how language is used. So the focus on function was not given much. An effect of the formal features and for ignoring the significance of contextual factors, because formalists, they avoid, right, contextual factors like the biography of the author, the historical, political situations, context. These all things are ignored. So they say that when you analyze a literary text, the focus should not be given to context. The focus should be given to the text itself. And in the text can only be poetic if there are certain features like literariness, parallelism, deviation. Such things are there, then a text becomes what? Poetic. Stylistics was also considered as a branch of literary criticism for being interdisciplinary in character and focusing on literature in general and poetry in particular. As I told you that stylistics is the extension of literary criticism, right? It was questions whether stylistic could be regarded as anything other than method and whether it considered any ideological or theoretical foundation because of its eclecticism. So because stylistic is eclectic, right? It is the amalgamation of several things or several different knowledge. That's why they say that it was questions whether stylistic could be regarded as anything other than the method and whether it considered any ideological or theoretical foundation because of its eclecticism. Therefore, more focus was given to function and context from 1970, which resulted into functional stylistic. So then we got functional stylistic because the focus was given to the functional analysis of a text rather than the form. Now here we have Michael Halliday's functional model. Halliday's functional model of language has made a particular impact with its focus on language as a social semiotic, a model of linguistic meaning making as a social phenomena influencing and influenced by the context in which it occurs. So this model focuses on what language as a social semiotic is the production of society and meaning making as a social phenomena. Meaning is created where? In society, influencing and influenced by the context in which occurs. So much focus is given to context, right? And language is considered as a social phenomena or social semiotics. Halliday offered three functions of language. What are those three functions of language at the same time? One is ideational function, one is interpersonal function, and one is textual function. So these are the three functions of a language at the same time. Halliday offered three functions of language. First, ideational, second, interpersonal, and third, textual. So these are the three functions of language actually used in a specific context, right? So when language is used in a specific context, so we have then three functions of language: ideational, interpersonal, and textual. Halliday's model entails an interest in longer stretch of the text rather than shorter one. So he focuses on longer text. We will discuss in detail what is ideational, what is interpersonal, and what is textual. Here we have the explanation of Halliday's functional model. Hallidean linguists play a significant role in branches of stylistic with their interest in the linguistic manifestation of ideologies such as feminist stylistic and critical stylistics. So that is because of Hallidean linguistics. Now today we have feminist stylistics and we have critical stylistics. Feminist stylistic is especially concerned with the realization and maintenance of an equal gender relation in literary text. So we see that how gender is represented unequally in a literary text, right? So if you want to find out that how gender is represented, whether equally or unequally, so you are doing feminist stylistics. Critical stylistics and feminist stylistics are closely related, as feminist stylistic is a variant form of critical stylistic. So first we have feminist stylistics, and then we have critical stylistic, right? And then it is said that a feminist stylistic is a variant of critical stylistic. So critical stylistic is a broader one, right? Which studies the linguistic embodiment of social inequality, power structure, and ideology. So critical stylistics deal with what? Social inequality, power structure, and ideology. And then we have feminist stylistic, which is one of the version or one of the variant of critical stylistics. So thank you so much. It was all about an introduction to the branches of stylistic and Halliday's functional model. In the next lecture, we will discuss pragmatic, cognitive, and corpus stylistics. So please don't forget to subscribe and like the channel. Thank you so much.